Welcome, everybody, to the Mental Health Hour. Welcome. Welcome, one and all. This week, we are discussing cost of living. Cost of living. Gemma, how are you this fine week?
I am not too bad, not too bad. I'm recovering from a minor injury with the thumb, nearly chopped the end of it off.
Yeah,
But,
for your Halloween broadcast.
oh, I didn't do it on broadcast, thankfully. That wasn't like on the broadcast, that was afterwards when I was making Thomas's tea. Gotta
Oh,
love onions for that.
I remember seeing on the meds quiz, that you were bleeding. So I was thinking that.
Yeah, it really was. That was dedication to the cause, that bleeding all over the keyboard, but I was winning, so I was going nowhere.
Speaking of the med, there he is, Mr. Med. Pacha. We've got Craig in the house, Annie Walker, as Mr. Med calls her, Annie 3 Walk 3R. That Craig bloke. Um, Uncle Rick in the house, Hattie. Uh, everybody's trickling in. Good to see you guys. Happy that you all are here. MJM, Michael Joseph Murray. Good to have you. We're here to talk about cost of living tonight, folks. Um, this is a topic that uh, encompasses finances and everything that goes into the financial world uh,
Mm.
around us. We all feel the burden, the financial burden. I would assume, unless there is someone among us that is rich beyond belief, and then can shower us with Twitter gifts and subs and what have you. But no, we don't ask for that. Um, we have Hattie in here. Thank you, Hattie. She's going to be throwing some links in the chat for you guys. Uh, please follow, subscribe, like, share uh, all this material out. It helps us grow as a community. That's our ultimate goal. We
Mm.
want to spread the mental health conversation out into the masses. So, Gemma, let's start with you. How has your week been?
Um, Marginally uneventful, really. Not a lot going on. Just usual, same shit, different day kind of thing. Um, you know, battling with the child to get him to school, get him to bed, teenager in a child's body kind of thing. But
Yeah,
plodding along.
plodding along. And that's kind of what we're dealing with tonight with cost of living. Um,
Mm.
Plodding along. Look at this wonderful
Blur.
blur camera. Can't get my hoodie in.
Turn the blur off.
Yeah, whatever. The Maryland flag. Anyway, so tonight we're going to take a look at finances. Again, we've done money episodes in the past. Um, Money, finances, everything of the sort uh, plays a huge role on our mental health, how we react and feel and drudge through the day, if you will. Money is a big player in that game, if you will. Would you agree, Gemma?
Oh yeah, like I know people say that money doesn't buy happiness and stuff, but you can't actually live without it. So,
Right. And it's funny, it's just a piece of paper, right? Like the
mhm.
almighty dollar. We're soaked over this piece of paper.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into some slides. I guess we'll start with we'll start looking at we'll go ahead and start off with the educational portion, if you will. And oh, Ella is in the house
with a raid.
with a raid. Was she
Yeah,
live?
apparently so.
Oh my!
We're raiding with a party of 8. Welcome.
Welcome, Raiders. Ella. Ella, our longtime supporter. You know her. You know you love her. We'll talk about her in the broadcast.
Keep
Patty,
mine.
go
This
ahead
is,
and pop in uh, the Ella command for me, please.
this is the only one I have left. Thomas has pinched them all.
And we'll get into the community calendar at the end of the show. But thank you, Ella, for the raid. We love our Ella. Ella, the bunny mom, and a ray of sunshine here joining us as well. Okay, let's talk dollar bills. So,
Oh, great British pounds.
or Great British pounds, yes. This is going to be go Turks. Thank you, Ray. Um, and Ella subscribed for 10 months. Ella's getting close to that gold. So I did some subscriber badges for the Twitch viewers. They're gonna get, when you hit the year mark, you get the golden hourglass. It's pretty cool. And then at 1.5 years, it's like a diamond hourglass, and then 2 years is a rainbow hourglass. Like it's real cool. I've got it all situated out for the Twitch viewers.
Oh, some new emotes coming as well.
So
Definitely.
thank you guys for subscribing for as long as you have. We love you. Hattie has resubscribed for 11 months. Ella for 10 months. And yes, that is amazing. Throwing out all the shout outs now. And what a perfect way to start the show with the shout outs for money, because we're talking money tonight. We've done a couple money episodes in the past, as I said. This one is kind of different. This one is like the cost of living. We've taken a look at finances before in the past, and how they affect your mental health, especially coming into the holiday season, which we're going to do. Last year we did a holiday depression episode. We're going to probably do another one of those with the holidays coming around again. But the finances, Gemma and I were talking before the show. America and the UK are experiencing a cost of living surge right now. Like, should we call it a crisis? Is it a crisis?
Yeah, they have deemed it as a crisis over here for definite. So
let's go ahead and take a look at some slides here. Here is inflation from April 2021 to April 2022. This is America. Beef. This is just a quick look at food products. As you can see, beef, bacon, breakfast sausage, fruits and veggies, fish, eggs, milk, everything's up. Inflation is real. And those are some tall numbers. What say you, Gemma, for Great Britain? Same over there, I assume. I think.
Yeah, very much so. I think I sent you one.
No.
Which one was it?
Yeah, here
there
we
go. So it's gone up massively to the point where I personally have stopped buying certain things that I usually would because I just won't pay that for it. Like milk being right at the top there, that has, well, in some cases, in some supermarkets, nearly doubled. Um, Butter, flour, oil. I know there was a sunflower oil shortage at one point because of what was going on and what is going on in with the wars and things. Oh gosh, hang on, I've got pop-ups. There we go. So we had trouble with that, and there's actually some supermarkets that still have a limit on what you can buy. Um, I went to buy something the other day, and there was a limit of 3 on it, and I thought, well, if you have a family of 4, you're screwed. But yeah, everything is up, and I've been looking at alternative brands just so that I can afford to keep going with it. To be honest.
Yeah, it's it's the same all over. Um,
Yeah.
these are UK numbers,
Mhm.
and come back to the American numbers. I mean, everything's up. So why are we talking about that? What does that mean for us? What does that mean for our mental health? Well, it means a lot. Our mental health is based on a lot of different things can help pull us down, right?
Mhm.
Like the depression and anxiety of bills. Uh, I'm gonna. I wanted to save this slide, but it really does fit in now. And Gemma, if you can pull it up, and um, let's just get right into it, and we'll start the
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay. So the cycle of money and mental health problems. Mental health distress makes it harder to earn, manage money, or ask for help. That causes financial difficulties. And then financial difficulty causes stress and anxiety, made worse by collections activity or going without essentials. And then mental distress. And it really is like that, just a circle going round and round, trying to get out of it then.
So, I mean, you got this circle, this vicious circle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it always. I feel like every time we talk mental health, there's a vicious circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every time you can look at uh, drinking or drug use, substance, um, whatever the case may be, there's always this vicious circle. And again, here we are faced with a circle of doom, if you will, the cycle of money problems, mental health. Uh, obviously, it keeps on spinning as we as inflation keeps going up and our cost of living. We're not making our job. You know, we're not getting raises as we should. Um, things are going up, but we're not making more money to negate
Yeah.
uh, the gaps. So
Yeah, the wage
a
isn't
lot,
matching the cost of living.
exactly. There's a lot of uh, money problems going on, especially with this time of year coming up with the holidays. It is very uh, a big time of the year when people get depressed financially, uh,
Mm.
and you have to take a look at your budget. You have to take a look at your finances because this time of year is tough for sure. Um, don't let it get too burdensome. There's always someone out there in your family that can help, right? Uh, uh, if you look at, I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. Uh, my notes on the other show, we talked about finances. We talked about credit and how to back out of that and go through the right channels of credit. Um, what's the word I'm looking for, Gemma? Absolution or um, getting rid of your credit. Gemma, are you there?
Yeah. I'm trying to work out what word you're thinking of.
Absolution, but they there are places that you can, or people you can talk to on the phone,
Oh yeah,
and
like
get uh,
professionals as well. I
or
had
a
to do it
program.
myself. Yeah,
But
because the minute you start letting it get out of hand and other like third parties get involved, it's hard to get out of them. So
yeah,
don't ever let pride stand in the way of getting help, because it can get out of hand very, very quickly.
it can get out of hand super quick. Let's
Very
look
much
at some
so.
comments. My shop rent is doubled in November and December. Stress on being able to budget. Prices going up. No. Let's take a look at this slide, Gemma, please.
Yeah. Okay. This is a worldwide one. Let me get it up. Or more countries anyway. So the darker greeny color is people living comfortably. The lighter green doing all right. Blue is just about getting by. Yellow finding it quite difficult, and the red finding it very difficult. So the US would say 24% are living comfortably, 33% doing all right, 25% just about getting by, 9% finding it quite difficult, and 7% finding it very difficult. And then there's, it seems, I won't go through all the countries because you can sort of see them, but it does appear that like Poland seems to have the highest number that are just about getting by, whereas Turkey have the highest number of those finding it very difficult. And then where I am, UK, Great Britain, there's 13% that are living comfortably, 34% doing all right, 31% just about getting by, where 13% finding it quite difficult, and 7% finding it very difficult. The grey bit is don't know. And I'm not sure like where they got the sources from. Ipsos, yeah, that's a pretty big company that does those things, but it's certainly turned to get worse, that's for sure, because when this was done, I saw a date when I found it, and I think things have got worse since then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's said to get even more and more like worse before it's going to get better. So and then over Christmas as well. I know that for a while I've not been like without problems, but I've just about got by more or less fairly comfortably. But now I would say that I'm finding it quite difficult, if not finding it very difficult at times.
Right.
And it's only going to get worse because we have the prices of gas and electric are absolutely soaring here. Again, they say a lot of it's to do with the war and everything, but it's getting out of hand to the point where, like for myself, I often feel cold, and I'll just stick an extra jumper on. So unless Thomas says he feels cold, it don't go on. And there's a lot of people living like that, and it's literally heat or eat at the moment. That's what they're saying. Choose to heat or eat.
Heat or eat.
Hmm.
And we looked at this a little earlier. Milk, butter, and flour. Um, all of these are pretty standard grocery items that we get in our households, and the numbers are just way up. Uh,
Hmm.
that does uh, put, as Nail Driver said, yes, it's an eye opener. It's it opens your eyes up to what we are spending a lot more money on groceries now.
Mhm.
And are we bringing in the amount that we need for, say, rent or mortgage? Um, uh, Gemma, what is it like over there in the UK for? Do you rent, mortgage? What?
I'm renting, but yeah, everything's
But
up.
I mean, can you? Do they have household, or can you home own, have a mortgage, all that, or do you
Uh,
rent?
I rent, but people do have mortgages and stuff.
So
Um,
it's the same. Okay, that's what I
yeah,
mean. Like you
yeah,
can.
yeah, it's all the same. Yeah,
I want to
you
throw
have to
this
meet
back
certain
up.
criteria to be able to have a mortgage, and that wouldn't be me.
I want to throw this back
Mm.
up. The cycle of the money and the mental health problems.
Mhm.
Um, Run through this again. Your financial difficulties, they cause the stress, the mental distress. It just keeps cycling, and it gets you in that point where you're. Um, I don't want to say that you don't care, but it just it feels like you're just like, bah, get away from me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
overwhelmed with it all.
Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. You know?
Yeah, trying to block it out. Like
Yeah.
we've been there, done that with the
I think all countries suffer money. Japan is hard. Let's take a look at this last slide, Gemma, please.
Mhm. Let me bring that one up. Oops, keep losing it. Sorry, there we go. Right, so what is financial stress? So feeling low or anxious is a normal response when you've lost your job, been made redundant, or you're struggling with debt. You may be feeling or behaving or thinking in ways that are unfamiliar, but that does not necessarily mean you're suffering from depression or an anxiety disorder. So how to reduce financial stress? Create an extra source of income. So knowing how to increase your financial holdings without creating significant stress for yourself can be tricky. Thankfully, there are several ways to boost your income and relieve your stress. Declutter your budget. So take control of your finances by setting aside some time to schedule, organize, and declutter all of the money coming in and out of your bank account. The more control you have, the less stress you will feel. Don't forget general stress management. So, eating a nutritious diet, getting enough sleep every night, and doing some form of physical exercise are linked with reducing stress levels. And then understanding the debt cycle. So, do your research and pay attention to interest rates. It's advisable to first pay off the debt that has the largest interest rate to avoid paying a higher cost over time. And then there's one thing that it's not on there, but I know you can do is there's some places where you can consolidate all of your debt to a lower interest rate if you have multiple ones. So they will allow you to consolidate them all so that they're not going out into different directions and that you are paying a lesser interest rate.
That's the
But
fucking
just
word
be
I was looking for. Consolidation.
okay, there you go.
Thank you. She's awake, ladies and gentlemen.
I am just for
The
now.
word I was looking for earlier, consolidation. Yes, um, absolutely. Understand your debt cycle. Do the
Hmm.
research. It's
Yeah.
financial stress is some of the worst stress that you can come across in the mental health world, realm, field, whatever you want to call it. Um, this it just bogs you the fuck down. Let's be real. Uh, Money sucks. I hate it. It it rules the world,
Yeah.
and
Mm,
we're gonna go away. Um, we have plenty of. I mean, I look around, and we're under house and home. I have a beautiful baby girl that's fed and you know clothed,
mm,
change, diapers, everything. All of that is good. However, what happens if inflation skyrockets, and the cost of living doesn't catch up with it? It's a constant battle with your mental health. I mean, you're always financially minded, you know, Gemma. Uh,
mm.
talk with me a little bit about how it is in the UK uh, with just everyday items like milk, gas,
Mm.
things
Oh,
like.
fuel for your car, petrol and diesel, is absolutely ridiculous. I went to fill my car up about 2 or 3 days ago, and it cost me like just under £70 for 3 quarters of a tank, and it's currently around. I think it was £1.60, 165. I think something like that for a liter.
Yeah,
So we are paying through the roof for the fuel, and obviously that is having a knock on effect with smaller businesses and things, and they have to recoup their costs somehow, and it's just everything, the cost of everything, the cost of gas and electric, the cost of fuel. There are a lot of businesses that have closed already due to the cost of living and the cost of having to run a business, which is making it even more difficult to get what we need. Um, I personally have cut down what I buy on a weekly basis just because there's certain things I don't think are worth paying that anymore. It was more of a luxury item. And I thought, well, I can't warrant spending that on these items and risking not having enough for like gas, electric, and other stuff.
yeah,
So I've had to really cut back with those things. And it is only going to get worse. And it does worry me, especially coming up to Christmas, with how I'm going to afford to keep the house going and like Christmas in general. Like what's going to happen?
I want to bring Ella on to talk about that. Managing a small business is very stressful, since the,
Hmm.
but um, unfortunately, we can't. Uh, but the effects of everything that everybody feels. uh, Um, I want to put a poll out. Ray, maybe you can throw a poll out. How does everybody feel going into the holiday season? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like you could use a second job? Um, where is everybody at financially? Um, I myself feel pretty comfortable these days. Gemma, how do you feel?
Um, Not great. Like hanging in there, but I've had to cut back to make sure I'm hanging in there. I couldn't have continued at the rate I was, so I've certainly had to cut back to make sure I can keep going.
Yeah,
Um, and certainly Christmas will be a little different this year, but just have to do what I have to do.
Christmas is going to be interesting this year. We've got a new baby. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, there's certainly things to uh, be bought, but when we think of the big picture and the mental health aspect of it, finances is pretty much. Would you, Gemma? Would you say finances is at the top of the tier of mental health. Um, when you're looking at a I don't, what do you call it, a pyramid or something,
Yeah, the pyramid chart.
like what is the top tier of mental health? Would it be finances, or would
I'd
it
say
be
so. I'd say so because of all the people that I've
substance, or would it be
spoken to. Well, you think about it, even if it is substance, there's money involved with that because they've got to get the money to fund the substances.
sure?
And
Yeah,
it will
that's a
soon
good
run
point.
out. So everything, absolutely everything revolves around money.
That's a
And
good
people
point.
say you can't, it doesn't buy happiness. It doesn't. Okay, there are people that are out there that have got so much money they don't know what to do with and are miserable.
Uh-huh.
But money can buy you better healthcare. It can buy you food on the table. And, while it's not buying happiness, it does make things easier. And every addiction you need money for. Everything you need money for. You cannot live without money. And I do think that the biggest, even if the cause of the depression is substance, in there will be money as well because you have to get money to fund it. And if you can't, then you go on to stealing or like whatever it goes. You have to be able to fund your addiction. So no matter
Yeah,
what it is that
that's a fucking great point. I didn't even think of, like,
it doesn't though.
your 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 addictions, your everything is still got to be funded.
Yeah,
So your financial situation comes into play with the
everything.
addiction and everything. Um, so I mean, really, literally, finances should be at the top tier of mental health stability, uh, or how we feel. Um, wouldn't
Mm.
you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
definitely think that it's one of the biggest causes of like stress and depression. It's
Stress.
also one of the biggest causes of war and disputes and things because there's always money and power
And
where there's
unfortunately,
conflict.
this time of year in the fire department, we call this, and I apologize to anybody that may be triggered, or trigger warning, whatever. We call this suicide season because it is the holidays, for whatever reason, comes down to money, and everybody. I've already run 2 calls this year, heading into the holidays. We've already had 2 suicides
Mm.
um, on the job so far this year, and it's just that time of the year when people get depressed, and it's supposed to be the happiest time of the year because Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays, but the holidays do produce a lot of depression and mental health. Um, we're gonna talk more about that
Mm-hmm.
future episodes. I do like last year our mental health, our episode on holiday depression went over very well. We're going to do another one of those, and I'm excited to get back into the holiday season. Um, we want to hear from you guys, the viewers, and the audience, the live chat. Please, in the comments, let us know what you want to talk about this holiday season, for mental health related items. Uh, hit the bio link and drop in a suggestion for a show topic for the holidays.
Yeah.
Gemma, can you add in on that, please?
There is also a form if you want to apply to be a guest. So fill that in if you have an idea. But yeah, definitely with finances coming up to the holidays and stuff, that's certainly my worry. One thing that I try and do just to save up, might be a little tip for others, I guess. Every time I get paid, I empty my purse of any change that I have and dump it in a container and don't touch it again till the end of the year. And that manages to help me save up a little bit for Christmas. Admittedly, there's been a lot less this year, but there is still some, and it helps me just put something towards Christmas and things. But there is so much pressure on, especially when you have kids,
Mm.
about getting the right gifts and making sure there's plenty, and it is very, very over commercialized, I think. And if it wasn't for me having a child, I wouldn't bother anymore, because certainly I know we're going to go into more of it on the actual episode, but being forced to be in a room with people you wouldn't normally be around, I don't find that fun. But
So
yeah, certainly a stress.
the poll looks like everybody is okay financially. Thank you, Ray. I would like to start doing some more of these Twitch polls
Hmm, I
during.
didn't see one come up.
I like the interaction with the audience. It's
Hmm.
awesome. The Twitch polls are great. I want to pull this slide back up, please, and let's talk briefly on uh, reducing that financial stress.
Hmm.
Knowing how to increase your financial holdings uh, without creating significant stress.
Hmm.
Don't forget general stress management. Eating. Um, you know, we always joke about exercising being a thing. Eating a healthy diet and exercising can help you with your financial stress. Um,
It can also be a stress if you're wondering how you're going to fund the eating as well. But
right.
yeah.
And understand that debt cycle. Understand
Hmm.
it. Do your research. Pay attention to the interest rates. Um, it it's all good advice. We're gonna throw those slides on the Discord, um, as we always do, and heading into Christmas, it's going to be. What do you think, Gemma?
What about?
We're gonna have a couple of shows coming up
Oh
with
yeah,
with
like what day is Christmas fall on? Let me have a look. We've got some planned for up to the end of November. We will put some more in. Christmas falls on, I think it's a Saturday. But yeah, I'm still good to do the one the week of Christmas.
yeah.
If you are, and we can certainly make sure we fit some around there. Even just like a check-in broadcast as well, just to see
So
what people are doing.
I think our culture is focused on big ticket. We need to get others, especially with kids, smartphones, tablets. Yeah. Um. So as Hattie's saying here, Naomi, uh, technology is rising. Um, cars, automobiles, everything that we use daily, gas, um, groceries, all of it is rapidly rising in price. Um,
Mm.
our our price are our paychecks enough to cover what we're doing? How's it looking over in England, in the land of the Queen and the King?
I know there's a lot of strikes and things. There's a Royal Mail strike coming up soon, all to do with extra wages and things. There's a lot of dispute with the NHS and the wages. There's basically every job I think, are saying that they're not getting enough,
Yeah.
and it's not meeting the wages. The cost of living is going up, but the wage is not. Unless you're a politician, then yeah, it is, and you
Sure.
can claim. I'm not going to get started on that one because this is an hour-long broadcast. But anyway, it seems if you fuck up and down in the street, somebody will clean your mess up. But anyway, don't go there. It's not easy, and as far as I'm aware, they are putting into place additional
Jimmy.
support for the most vulnerable, those that are claiming benefits and things. And if anybody is struggling financially in the UK, I can absolutely point you in the direction of support. There's
Yeah.
an organisation called Step Change. I once had to go through it. I had a debt relief order, and now I'm rendered debt free. And it's gone. It was passed, but after I split, somebody put it in the comments. After I split with my now ex, I was left with nothing for weeks and weeks, and had nothing to live on. And it can be hard, and it can force people to be in situations and relationships that they don't want to be in for fear of not being able to survive financially. But there are always ways around it, even if it's not ideal. I know when I went through it, it was certainly far from ideal, and I was very, very embarrassed and ashamed to have to ask for the help. But there is no shame in struggling and getting the help. I know that now. I didn't at the time.
Yeah.
And never ever let it get to the point where there's courts and bailiffs and things involved, because then it becomes way more difficult to handle.
Yeah. One pack of cigs is a week's food bill.
It really, yeah, they're like £8-9, if not more, for a pack of 20, I think.
So we try to stay non-political
Mm-hmm.
on our channel. Um, we don't need to mesh, the mental health hour with politics
No.
and what have you. But cost of living does kind of fall into a political realm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know what goes on over in the UK.
I
But
don't think the UK knows what's going on in the UK at the moment.
over here, it seems to me that I get better paychecks when there are. Never mind. We're not going to get involved because I'm just going to start a firestorm. Uh, when certain people are in office, I get better paychecks. We'll just leave it at that.
They did that actually. There was a big movement over it when I was teaching, and they compared my job role to that
Right
of
now, my paychecks suck.
another one. And there is a heck of a difference depending on where you live as well. And it's very well known here in the UK, the further down south you are, the more expensive things are. But they do somewhat give you a higher wage to compensate that, sort of. But yeah, I think no matter where you live at the moment, it's difficult, and it certainly is like
Just sneak that
money
in
can
the
cause
chat
conflict.
there.
I think politics and money is certainly two of a few things that cause conflict, disagreement. I think no matter what your opinion, you're always going to find somebody that has a different opinion. So it's definitely
Right,
better
that's not
to
right.
steer clear of
Am
that.
I knowing that the U.S. minimum wage is? That's not right. It's $15 an hour or some shit like that.
Let me have a look. I'm going to really quickly look it up.
But bullshit.
It says the federal minimum wage of $7.52 an hour for the US. So yeah,
That's close.
rate's correct. It says it here. And then in the UK, let me have a look. Hourly rate of £9.18 is the minimum wage,
So
which would be less if you convert it
I'll
just
put it to you
slightly.
this way. I minimum wage in my state is $7.50. That's unreal. I thought minimum wage was like $15 an hour now.
No, seems not. I don't know how people will survive on that.
That's crazy. I thought it was up over $10.
It,
Ella says in California it's $15.
I think some of it's depending on where you live,
Yeah, from
as
state to
well,
state.
because if I thought I saw, I think I saw a state
The
by
minimum
state
wage is
breakdown.
$15
Yeah.
in Florida. So anyway, folks, the nut nuts and bolts of this is
Oh,
we need to watch our mental.
your Maryland is 12.20 where
Huh?
you are. Where you are, it's 12.20 the minimum wage.
12.20
Yeah, that's what it says here.
from the
It's state by
UK,
state.
straight from the UK.
I'm just looking it up. But
Anyway,
either way, it's still not enough really to live on. And I'd love such as the people that are in charge of setting the said minimum wage to try and live on it for a month and see how they do. I really would, but they're not going to do that.
so next week, let me throw that down. Next week, what are we looking at, Gemma?
Oh yeah, next week I've got it's a friend of mine, John McCabe. He runs his own business, so he'll be able to tell us a little bit about um running your own business and things and the cost of living there, I guess, and the stresses he faces. But some of you might know him because, especially if you're on my social media, because he was the one that came when Thomas was diagnosed with cancer as Mickey Mouse, because he was refusing to talk, refusing to eat. He was just crying, and he came as Mickey Mouse. Said he picked him up and he was crying under his costume and stuff, but brought him around and things. But he runs an entertainment business, and yeah, he's going to share his story. I think he's done his own book as well. That he does a lot around mental health. He's a big believer in trying to help mental health. So
We're looking forward to that.
I don't normally let people I know in real life know what I do online.
Just remember, as we head into the holidays, if you need any help, please reach out to the Discord, to the Twitter. Hattie, if you could put down the help lines, please. We're heading into the holiday season, and that is unfortunately a depressing time for some. Please reach out. Finances are not something that need to be the end of all. Let me look at some comments here. Been working on finding my mom new homeowner insurance since her current policy is canceling to her.
It's crazy. I mean, let me just look up. I just want to look something up so that it can give you an idea of. The
It's
right,
$900
okay.
for a 3.
Well, this is definitely how much it's been hit now because I know the Great British Pound has plummeted in value lately, and now the $1 is the equivalent to 87.6 pence. Whereas it was a lot more than that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, politics have made that plummet. And I don't know if and when that'll recover. But again, like the decisions that people in power make, that I don't know whether they think that's what people want or they just don't care. But it affects everybody. And the people that are in power making these decisions don't generally have to worry about money and worry about will they be able to feed the family for the week or pay the rent or be able to turn on the heating. But the decisions they make have detrimental consequences to everybody, really.
Eat.
And here we go, Penelope.
She is.
Oh,
We have eyeballs.
she's been very good. Has she been asleep?
She's been asleep the whole time. She's been very good.
Must be good to be that age. Well, like, they're a lot easier when they're that age. No worries and stuff. And I think that does it certainly made me feel guilty having a child and bringing them into the world that we are in now. But anyway, bless her. I swear she grows every week.
But our main focus, as we said, as Gemma and Tim said, please keep an eye on your finances.
Mm-hmm.
We're heading into the holidays. We're going to do our good holiday broadcasts we love. But keep an eye on those finances and sail smoothly. Budget,
Yeah.
budget. Give yourself a comfortable balance. Um, write down what you're bringing in and see how it interacts with what's going out. You know, the cost of living
I've
is.
got a budget diary pages and things that I can drop in the Discord as well. That'll help. Just to help keep. And I think until you start looking at what you are paying out and going through it, there's a lot of things that certainly you might forget about paying, like any subscriptions. Check what you're paying for apps and things. Check that you haven't, because a lot of people, like myself included, take out trial periods for things and forget to cancel them. Make sure you aren't doing that with anything. Write down everything that's coming in, everything that's going out,
Another
and then see
journaling.
if you really need it. Again, journaling, yeah. Everything. And see if there's anything that you could cut back on or reduce completely or swap a brand for. Like there are certain things that I don't like cheaper brands of, like my Pepsi, for example. But there are other things that you can make savings with by using a cheaper brand of something.
Yeah.
But definitely look into what you're paying out, because sometimes you can be surprised and you can be paying for stuff you don't even realize.
You don't
But
even realize those brown eyes.
no, she's just happy in her own little world there.
Don't forget our favorite bunny mama for all things bunny.
Mm.
Ella, the bunny mom.
Ooh,
www.mybunny
blurry.
mybunnyvalentine.com/ well, you
I
don't need
screwed the camera. There we go.
use the promo code FireDude15. You get 15% off and you help Ella save all the bunnies. Save all the bunnies. Save all the bunnies. And catch us next week live on Twitch
Mhm.
Wednesday, 6 p.m.